What if everything you thought you knew about your family was a lie? Zuri is about to discover the shocking truth, but will it cost him everything? Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the twist. In the village of Talone there was a man named Kano who did something strange at funerals. While others cried and mourned, Kano laughed loudly. His laughter wasn't quiet or nervous, it was full of joy, like he had heard a funny joke. The villagers did not understand it. How could someone laugh at such a sad time? Children ran away from him, and adults whispered behind his back, some thinking he was cursed, while others thought he was crazy. But Khan never explained why he laughed, he simply smiled and walked away. One morning, the village woke up to sad news. Elder Nuru, the wisest and kindest man in Talone, had passed away. Nuru was loved by everyone because he always helped those in need. When children were hungry, he fed them. When neighbors fought, he made peace. His death left the entire village in tears, and plans for a big funeral began, with everyone preparing to honor him. But deep down, the villagers were worried about one thing: would Kano come to the funeral? And if he did, would he laugh? On the day of the funeral, the villagers gathered under a large tent near the village square. Everyone wore black clothes, and their faces were full of sorrow. Nuru's family sat at the front, crying softly. As the priest stood to begin the ceremony, the air was heavy with sadness, and no one smiled. Then, just as the priest started to pray, Kano appeared. He stood at the back, wearing his usual wrinkled shirt and dusty sandals. The villagers held their breath, afraid of what might happen next. As the priest spoke about Elder Nuru's life, Kano suddenly began to laugh. It wasn't a small laugh, it was a laugh that echoed through the crowd like thunder. The mourners froze, their eyes wide with shock. Nuru's son, Zuri, jumped to his feet, his face red with anger. "How dare you laugh at my father's funeral?" he shouted. The villagers murmured angrily, some calling for Kano to be thrown out, but Kano did not stop. He laughed harder, clutching his stomach as if he couldn't help himself. His actions left everyone confused and furious. Zuri stormed toward Kano, his fists clenched tightly. "What is wrong with you?" he yelled. "Why do you laugh when we are mourning?" The crowd moved closer, waiting for Kano's answer, but Kano only wiped the tears of laughter from his eyes and smiled. "I am not mocking your father," he said softly. "I laugh because I see what you cannot." The villagers gasped. "What do you mean?" someone demanded. Kano shook his head. "You would not understand," he said. Then, without another word, he turned and walked away, leaving everyone in silence. After the funeral, the villagers couldn't stop talking about what had happened. "Why would Kano say such strange things?" one woman asked. "Maybe he knows something we don't," another replied. Some believed Kano had a secret, while others thought he was just mad. Zuri, however, couldn't let it go. "He disrespected my father," Zuri said to himself. "I will find out what he meant, no matter what." Determined, Zuri began asking questions about Kano's past, hoping to uncover the truth behind his strange laughter. Before Zuri could learn much, tragedy struck the village again. A young woman named Amira, known for her kindness and beauty, suddenly died. The villagers were heartbroken, and the village was filled with grief. Amira's mother cried loudly, saying her daughter's death didn't feel like an accident. Rumors of foul play spread quickly. The funeral was planned for the next day, and the villagers whispered nervously, "Will Kano come? And if he does, will he laugh again?" Everyone was on edge as they gathered for Amira's funeral. The funeral began under cloudy skies. Amira's family sat in the front row, crying, as the priest said a prayer. Suddenly, just like before, Kano arrived. He stood at the back, his face calm and unreadable. For a moment, it seemed like he might stay quiet, but as the priest continued, Kano started laughing again. His laughter was loud and unsettling, filling the air with an eerie sound. Amira's mother screamed, "Why are you laughing at my daughter's death?" The crowd turned towards Kano, furious and confused, but he did not stop. This time, Kano stopped laughing and looked at Amira's mother with a serious face. "I do not laugh at your daughter," he said. "I laugh because the truth is near." The crowd gasped, and the people began murmuring. "What truth?" someone shouted. "Stop speaking in riddles," another cried. But Kano did not answer. Instead, he turned and walked away, leaving the villagers even more confused. Zuri watched him closely, his anger growing stronger. "He knows something," Zuri thought. "I will make him tell me." Determined, he decided to confront Kano one more time. That evening, Zuri followed Kano to his small hut at the edge of the village. The sun was setting, and the air was cool and quiet. Kano was sitting outside, staring at the sky when Zuri arrived. "Tell me what you meant," Zuri demanded. "What truth are you talking about?" Kano sighed and looked at Zuri. "The dead do not rest until their stories are told," he said. Zuri frowned, confused. "What stories?" he asked. Kano's face grew serious. "Your father and Amira were killed," he said. "Zuri, and the truth will not stay hidden." Zuri froze, staring at Kano in disbelief. "What are you saying?" "My father was poisoned." "Amira was killed?" he asked, his voice trembling with both anger and fear. Kano nodded solemnly. "The dead speak, Zuri. I hear their cries. Elder Nuru and Amira's spirits are restless, and they demand justice." Zuri shook his head. "This is madness. You expect me to believe you can hear the dead?" Kano sighed. "You don't have to believe me, but the truth will reveal itself. Listen carefully, and you will find out too," he said. Zuri returned to the village, shaking and unsure of what to do. He told no one about his conversation with Kano, but he couldn't stop thinking about it. Meanwhile, the villagers continued to talk about Kano's strange behavior. "Why does he laugh and speak in riddles?" they asked. Some said he was cursed by the gods, while others believed he had powers to see beyond the living. "If he knows the truth, he must share it," an elder said. The pressure on Kano grew, but he remained calm and silent. Unable to ignore Kano's words, Zuri decided to investigate. He started asking questions about his father's final days. "Did anyone notice something strange before he died?" he asked Nuru's close friends. One of them, an old man named Tariq, hesitated before answering. "Your father wasn't himself in his last week," Tariq said. "He complained about a bitter taste in his food." Zuri's heart raced. He had always believed his father died of old age. Now, doubts began to grow in his mind. Could Kano be telling the truth? He wondered. Zuri's investigation led him to the village healer, Adia, who had prepared medicines for Nuru. "Did my father come to you before he died?" Zuri asked her. Adia nodded. "Yes, he came complaining of stomach pain. I gave him herbs to ease it, but I suspected something was wrong," she said. Zuri frowned. "What do you mean?" he asked. Adia hesitated. "It felt like poison," she whispered. Zuri's eyes widened. "Poison," he repeated. Adia nodded slowly and sadly. "I warned him to be careful, but it was too late." As Zuri investigated his father's death, he began hearing more rumors about Amira's tragic fall. Her closest friend, Zara, told him something chilling. "Amira told me she was scared before she died," Zara said. "She discovered something about someone in the village, but she didn't tell me who." Zuri's blood ran cold. "What did she find out?" he asked. Zara shook her head. "I don't know. She just said it was dangerous and that she needed to speak to the elders. Zuri realized Amira's death might not have been an accident. Desperate for answers, Zuri returned to Kano's hut late one evening. Kano was sitting outside, humming to himself when Zuri arrived. "You were right," Zuri said, his voice heavy with frustration. "There is more to my father's death and Amira's fall than I thought." Kano nodded, his face calm. "I told you the dead don't lie," he said. "But now you must decide, will you uncover the truth, or will you let it stay buried?" Zuri clenched his fist. "I need to know the truth," he said firmly. Kano smiled faintly. "Then listen carefully," he said. Kano leaned forward, his voice low and serious. "The truth you seek is dangerous, Zuri. There are people in this village who would do anything to keep their secrets hidden." Zuri frowned. "Are you saying someone in the village killed my father and Amira?" he asked. Kano nodded. "Yes, and they won't stop at anything to protect themselves. You must be careful." Zuri felt a mix of anger and fear. "Who are they?" he demanded. Kano shook his head. "That's for you to find out, but be prepared for what comes next." Zuri couldn't sleep that night. Kano's words echoed in his mind, and his heart burned with determination. He decided to continue digging, no matter how dangerous it was. Early the next morning, he gathered his father's old friends and asked them to share anything they knew. Most of them denied knowing anything unusual, but one man, Suleiman, spoke up. "Your father argued with someone shortly before he died," Suleiman said. Zuri leaned forward. "Who was it?" he asked. Suleiman hesitated before answering. "It was your uncle, Elder Jobber," he finally said. Zuri's stomach churned as he heard Suleiman's words. His uncle, Jobber, was Nuru's younger brother, and he had always been close to the family. "Why would Uncle Jobber argue with my father?" Zuri asked. Suleiman shrugged. "I don't know what it was about, but it was heated. They met in secret, and your father seemed upset afterward." Zuri decided to confront his uncle. If Jobber was involved in his father's death, he needed to know. The idea of a family betrayal made him feel sick, but he had to face the truth. Zuri went to his uncle Jobber's home early the next morning. Jobber was outside sharpening a machete when Zuri arrived. "Uncle, I need to speak with you," Zuri said, his voice steady but tense. Jobber looked up, surprised. "What is it, my boy?" he asked. Zuri didn't hesitate. "I know you argued with my father before he died. What was it about?" Jobber's face darkened, and he paused before answering. "That's none of your concern," he said sharply. Zuri stepped closer. "It is my concern. Did you have anything to do with his death?" Jobber slammed the machete onto the table, his face full of anger. "How dare you accuse me of something so terrible?" he shouted. "Your father and I had disagreements, but I loved him like my brother." Zuri did not back down. "If you have nothing to hide, tell me the truth," he said firmly. Jobber sighed deeply and sat down. "Your father and I fought over the land," he admitted. "He wanted me to sell my portion, but I refused. That's all. I would never harm him." Zuri wasn't convinced. Something felt off. Frustrated and confused, Zuri returned to Kano. "I confronted my uncle, but he denied everything," Zuri said. Kano nodded, as if he had expected this. "The guilty often deny their sins until they are forced to face the truth," he said. Zuri frowned. "What do you mean?" Kano's eyes grew distant. "I've seen it, Zuri. The poison was not meant to kill right away. It was slipped into your father's food over time. The one responsible did not act alone," he said. Zuri's heart sank. "Then who helped them?" he demanded, determined to uncover the truth. Kano leaned in closer. You need to gather more clues. Start with the kitchen, he said. Zuri began questioning the kitchen staff. He spoke to Adama, the housemaid who prepared his father's meals. At first, Adama was nervous, avoiding his questions. But when Zuri pressed her, she finally broke down. I don't know much, she cried tearfully. But your uncle often came to the house and insisted on preparing special meals for your father. He said it was a family recipe. Zuri's eyes narrowed. Did my father know about this? He asked. Adama shook her head. He trusted him, she said. Zuri realized he couldn't solve this mystery alone. He needed help from someone who knew the village's secrets. He went to the old village storyteller, Mama Tuli, who had seen many things in her lifetime. Mama, I need your help, he said, sitting beside her on her veranda. She listened quietly as he explained everything. When he finished, she nodded slowly. I've heard whispers, my son, she said. Your uncle has always been jealous of your father's success. If he is involved, you must tread carefully. He's dangerous and clever. While speaking to Mama Tuli, Zuri learned something surprising. Amira was close to your father, Mama Tuli said. She often helped him with errands and heard many of his secrets. Zuri's heart raced. Do you think Amira knew about the poison? He asked. Mama Tuli nodded. It's possible. If she suspected your uncle, it could explain why she was killed, she said. Zuri clenched his fists. Then Amira died because she tried to protect my father, he said, his voice heavy with guilt. I won't let her death be in vain. Fueled by new information, Zuri confronted Jobe again. This time, he did not hold back. I know you poisoned my father, he shouted. I know Amira found out about it. Jobe's face paled, and he stammered, You have no proof. Zuri stepped closer. I will find proof, even if I have to dig up every secret in this village, he said. Jobe's expression hardened. Be careful, boy. You don't know who you're accusing, he warned. Zuri knew he had struck a nerve. I'm not afraid of the truth, he said firmly. As Zuri dug deeper, whispers began to spread through the village. Some people supported him, believing he was brave for seeking justice. Others thought he was stirring up trouble. Why can't he let the dead rest? One villager muttered. Even Zuri's mother begged him to stop. Your father is gone, my son. Leave it alone before you get hurt, she said. But Zuri couldn't stop. If I don't fight for the truth, who will? He replied. He knew the danger, but he was determined to bring justice to his family. One night, Zuri found a note slipped under his door. It read, Stop asking questions or you will regret it. His hands shook as he held the paper, but he refused to be intimidated. The next day, he went to Kano and showed him the note. They're trying to scare me, Zuri said. Kano nodded. They're afraid of the truth coming out, he said. But you must be strong. The spirits of the dead are on your side. Zuri felt a chill run down his spine. I won't stop, he said. Not now. After receiving the threatening note, Zuri realized he couldn't face this alone anymore. He turned to Kano for more than just advice. I need your help, Zuri said. Whoever killed my father and Amira is dangerous, but I won't back down. Kano nodded, his face calm. The truth is a heavy burden, but together we will carry it, he said. Kano began sharing more about the visions he had. Your father and Amira's spirits both point to the same person, Kano said. Zuri's heart raced. Is it really my uncle? He asked, his voice trembling. Kano didn't hesitate before answering. Yes, Jobe is guilty, he said. But he did not act alone. Someone else helped him. Zuri frowned, confused. Who else would do such a thing? He asked. Kano looked at him with sad eyes. Someone close to you, he said quietly. Zuri's mind raced. His family was small, his mother, his cousins, and the housemaid. Who could betray us like this? He whispered. Kano placed a hand on Zuri's shoulder. You must find out, but tread carefully. The guilty will not confess easily, and the danger is near. Determined, Zuri decided to question Adama again. This time, he watched her closely for any signs of guilt. Adama, you've worked for my family for years, he began. Did you ever notice anything strange about my uncle's visits? Adama looked nervous, avoiding his eyes. I already told you, he likes to cook for your father, she said. Zuri leaned closer. Did you ever see him put anything in the food? He pressed. Adama's hands trembled. I don't know, she stammered. Zuri felt his suspicions grow. What are you hiding? He demanded. Finally, Adama broke down in tears. I didn't mean for anyone to die, she cried. Your uncle threatened me. He said if I did not let him into the kitchen, he would hurt my family. Zuri's chest tightened. So you knew he was poisoning my father? He asked. Adama nodded, sobbing. I tried to stop him, but he always found a way. I'm so sorry, Zuri, she said. Zuri felt a mix of anger and sadness. Adama had been forced into helping, but she had still betrayed his family. Why didn't you tell me sooner? He asked. Now that Zuri had Adama's confession, he knew he needed proof to confront Jobe. He and Kano came up with a plan. We will gather the elders and expose him in front of everyone, Kano suggested. But we need to catch him off guard. Zuri nodded. I will invite him to my house for dinner. We will make him think everything is normal, then reveal the truth, he said. Kano agreed. The spirit of your father and Amira will guide us, he said. Zuri felt a flicker of hope. This ends now, he said. The next evening, Zuri invited Jobe to dinner. Jobe arrived, smiling warmly as if nothing was wrong. It's good to see you, my boy, Jobe said. Zuri forced himself to smile back. I wanted us to spend time together, uncle, he said. As they ate, Zuri carefully led the conversation towards his father's death. I still think about what happened, he said. Jobe's smile faltered. It was a tragedy, he said, avoiding Zuri's gaze. Zuri pressed on. Do you think anyone could have hurt him? He asked. Jobe's hand shook slightly. Why would you ask that? He replied. Zuri stood, his voice steady. Because I know the truth, uncle. You poisoned my father. Jobe froze, his face turning pale. What are you talking about? He stammered. Kano stepped out from the shadows, holding the written confession Adama had given. We have proof, Kano said. Your accomplice has already confessed. The room fell quiet as Jobe realized he had been caught. It wasn't supposed to happen like this, Jobe muttered. Zuri glared at him. What about Amira? Did you kill her too? He demanded. Jobe broke down, his voice shaking. Yes, it was me, he said. Amira overheard me and Adama talking about the poison. She threatened to go to the elders, so I had to silence her. Zuri felt a wave of grief and fury. You betrayed your own family for greed, he shouted. Jobe hung his head. I didn't want this to happen, he said weakly. Kano stepped forward. The spirit of the dead saw everything, and now the truth is out, he said. Zuri clenched his fists. You will face justice for what you've done, he said. The next day, Zuri gathered the village elders and revealed everything. He presented Adama's confession and forced Jobe to repeat his own in front of the crowd. The villagers were shocked and angry. How could you do this to your own brother? One elder demanded. Jobe had no answer. The elders decided he would be banished from the village, and Adama would have to leave as well. You will never hurt anyone here again, the chief elder said. Zuri watched as his uncle and Adama were taken away, feeling a mix of relief and sorrow. After the meeting, Zuri found Kano sitting under a tree, laughing softly to himself. Why are you laughing now? Zuri asked. Kano smiled. Because justice has been served, he said. Your father and Amira can finally rest in peace. Zuri nodded, feeling a weight lift off his shoulders. I couldn't have done it without you, he said. Kano shook his head. The truth was always there. You just needed to see it, he said. For the first time, Zuri understood why Kano laughed. It wasn't out of madness, but out of relief, when the truth prevailed. With Jobe and Adama gone, the village slowly began to heal. People stopped whispering about Kano and started respecting him. He was strange, but he was right, one elder said. Zuri focused on rebuilding his family's reputation and honoring his father's legacy. He planted a tree in memory of Elder Nuru and Amira, vowing to keep their stories alive. The villagers came together for the first time in years, united by the truth. Life returned to normal, but the memory of what had happened would never fade. One morning, Zuri went to visit Kano, but found his heart empty. Kano had left without a word. Where could he have gone? Zuri wondered. But deep down, he knew Kano had fulfilled his purpose in Talone. He had brought justice to the dead and peace to the living. As Zuri stood outside the empty hut, he heard a faint echo of laughter in the breeze. Smiling, he whispered, "Thank you, Kano, the man who laughed at funerals." He was gone, but his legacy would remain in the hearts of the villagers forever. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the twist. What would you risk to uncover the truth about your own family?